Representative Hanabusa, we've talked about this during your time at the legislature, but the state of our roads are very poor, as you know. What are you going to do to ensure that Hawaii gets its share of federal funds for needed repairs going forward, particularly since Hawaii's trust fund is set to run out of money next month? What's your solution?
Well, I think the first thing we got to understand is why and what Hawaii is doing in terms of the use of the trust funds, because we do know that there's been issues raised in Washington as to whether the Abercrombie administration has actually used the various trust funds that have been available. In addition to that, right now what Congress is being faced with is the potential of how are we going to work to rebuild the federal trust funds, because they are at low rates. We need to have that increase so that we can do the work that we need. Or alternatively, we got to pass the Jobs Act, which the President has proposed, where a major component of it is infrastructure development, and one of the things that's high on the list is road repair, road building, and of course, transportation costs. Those are the things that we should consider in Congress, but the most important thing is we have to have an accounting of the monies that Hawaii has received.
Rebuttal, Senator.
Well, the federal highway fund is nearly broke. It's going to be broke sometime this fall, and we have to take action over the next 6 weeks or so, or have a stopgap measure. Look, there used to be bipartisan consensus when it came to investing in ourselves, when it came to investing in infrastructure, until the Tea Party came along. When the Tea Party came along, they decided that all government spending, whether it was efficient or not, whether it was pro-business or not, was somehow to be fought. And that's the reason that we have no revenue for the Highway Trust Fund, and that's the reason that we have to get back to a bipartisan consensus that says, look, investing in infrastructure is something that's good for business, it's good for our society, but we really need to pass a highway bill in the next couple of months.
And Senator Schatz, what can you tell us? What is something that your opponent has done that has had a positive effect on Hawaii and its people?
Well, look, one of the things that I like about Colleen, as tough as we sometimes get with each other, is that we don't take it personally. We've been able to remain friends. We've campaigned together. We've campaigned against each other. And we have never taken it personally because we are both Democrats. I think one of the things that she did very well with my old friend Scott Saiki was convene and oversee the Felix Consent Decree, a special investigative committee. I thought that proved to be very, very useful for state government in terms of getting our arms around spending that was a little bit out of control. And I thought she did a very good job with that. But one of the things I like about Colleen is that after this battle is done, I know that we will be friends.
Representative?
Well, thank you, Brian. I'm glad that you feel that way, and I'm glad that you recognize the work that we did on the Felix Consent Decree. I've got to tell you, the one thing that I admire about Brian is the fact that Brian is a survivor in this political arena. I'm just amazed, you know. In 2006, he stepped down and he ran for Congress. We all did. And then he managed to come back as the head of the Democratic Party. And the most important thing was when he won as the lieutenant governor. And then he convinced Neil Abercrombie that he should be appointed to the United States Senate. That's an amazing feat. One vote created somebody as the United States Senator for the state of Hawaii. That's something you've got to admire.
Thank you, Representative.
If only we had a rebuttal to the rebuttal. Congressman Hanabusa, Congresswoman, this is to you. While she hasn't announced her intentions yet, Hillary Clinton seems to be the front runner for the Democratic nominee for president in 2016. Why would you support her, and do you think the country is ready for a female president?
Well, Chad, as you know, I supported Hillary Clinton in 2008. Senator Inouye and I both supported her. I felt then that she would be a great president, and I feel now that she would be a great president. I think that Hillary Clinton has paid her dues like no one else. And as a woman, I have to tell you, I look upon Hillary Clinton as probably our best chance as a woman to have a president of the United States, the greatest nation in the world. No one can dispute her record in terms of the fact that she was Secretary of State, or the fact that she served in the United States Senate, was First Lady. But more than all of that, I just think she is so smart, and she's got all the guts that you would want in a person, and she can make those tough decisions. Nothing gives me as much pride as a woman to be able to say that I want to see Hillary Clinton, the first woman president of our great nation, in 2016.
Senator?
I'm an enormous admirer of Secretary Clinton, and I hope she runs. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. The only election I'm thinking about is on August 9th. I have a very formidable opponent. She's my friend, but she is my opponent, and I'm going to be focusing on that for the next 35 days. But I sure hope Hillary Clinton runs for president. I think she'll make an extraordinary president. And in addition to her qualifications, you know, it was actually my son, not my daughter, that mentioned, you know, I hope Hillary Clinton runs because I think it's time we have a woman president. And, you know, that stuck with me, and that's one of the reasons that I hope she runs.
All right, thank you.
Senator Schatz, President Barack Obama has made a lot about his shift toward the Pacific in his foreign policy as well as military policy. How important is the U.S. military presence in Hawaii, and is our local economy too dependent on it?
Look, the Asia-Pacific rebalancing is important for national security purposes first, but it's also important for our economy. There are two things that we need to focus on. It's not just the articulation of the Asia-Pacific rebalancing, it's also making sure that where the rubber hits the road, which is really with respect to appropriations, that we make sure that there are dollars behind the words. We've been able to get Senator Dick Durbin to Hawaii, Mazie and I, the #2 Democrat in the Senate and the leader of the Defense Appropriations Subcommittee in the Senate. And he articulated his commitment not just on policy but in terms of dollars to the Asia-Pacific rebalancing and how critical the state of Hawaii and all of our defense assets are with respect to the Asia-Pacific rebalancing. I think the other thing is that we need to encourage the White House, the State Department, and the Department of Defense not just to come to Hawaii but to travel through the Asia-Pacific region. Understandably, they're focused on the Middle East right now, but we've got plenty of challenges and opportunities that we've got to focus on.
All right, thank you. Representative?
As you know, this has been a passion of mine, the Asia-Pacific pivot, as the President first referred to it. And that is because it is so critical to Hawaii. As the Asia-Pacific pivots, it pivots to Hawaii. Hillary Clinton, as Secretary of State, said that the gateway to Asia-Pacific is Hawaii, and the 21st century will be defined by Asia-Pacific. Our military presence, critical, and that is what we rely upon to stabilize our economy, no question about that. But in addition to that, it means so much for us in terms of technology and research and clean energy in particular. Also know that one of the things that we have to look at is what it does for our jobs. If 20,000 troops from Schofield are left, what happens to Waihewa?
All right, thank you very much. We have just enough time for one final question. You will each have 1 minute just to answer this question, not a rebuttal or anything, just to answer it. And I'm going to address it to you, Representative Hanabusa, first. Hawaii has the lowest, among the lowest voter turnouts in the nation. We see that consistently. Why is it important for people to get out and vote for this election? 1 minute.
It is important for people to get out and vote for this election because you are going to pick who will succeed and who will actually fill the remainder of Senator Inoue's term. Our low voter turnout is because I think people feel for so long that their vote doesn't matter. This is an election where it will matter. It is not only Brian and my election, it is also the gubernatorial elections. It is the fact that Congressional District 1 will need a successor. These are all points that people must feel engaged in. You know, when we talked about veterans earlier, remember the greatest sacrifice that they did was your right to vote. That is something that we ask that you all exercise, so the sacrifices that they have made are not in vain. That's what makes us the greatest country in the world, the ability to pick your leaders and the ability to hold your leaders accountable to you. So please vote.
Thank you. And Senator, same thing, 1
Well,
minute.
thank you, Paula, for the question. Look, politicians like to make elections about themselves. They like to make the elections about themselves and their opponents and who's for them and which factions are for them. But look, what it comes down to is who's for you. Who's for middle-class families, who's for families that want to enter the middle class, who's for people who are on Social Security. More than 200,000 families across the state of Hawaii are receiving roughly $14,000 a year, struggling to get by on Social Security. So many families, so many young people are struggling with the cost of college. everybody pays 3 to 4 times the national average for electricity. And so this election, in my view, is about having someone in the United States Senate who fights for all of you, who understands that Hawaii is the best place in the world to live, but it's not that easy to make it. And you need someone who wakes up every day thinking about the struggles that you go through and trying to help just a little bit.
Thank you very much. Now we have concluded our questions for this evening. Each candidate will now have a minute and a half for their closing statements. And we're going to start with Senator Brian Schatz. Senator, your time.
Thank you very much. Maybe you're a leader in a community organization, a coach for Little League or soccer, a business leader, a church member, active in your kid's school. Whether you're in the Senate or you're someone who helps out wherever it's needed, you're in public service. You're putting your values and your priorities to work in the service of others. That's exactly how I try to approach my job as your senator, to take our shared values to Washington. That means voting to protect Social Security every time someone tries to cut it. And it means pushing to increase Social Security benefits for our loved ones. Putting our values to work means fighting for an economy that works for everyone, families, not special interests. Because no matter how often we hear about powerful special interests, you and I both know nothing is more powerful than the love and the dreams that we have for our children. For me, public service isn't about what chairing 2 Senate committees may add to my resume or what President Obama's endorsement may do for my campaign. It's about putting those chairmanships to work, fighting for Hawaii tourism and clean energy, and working with President Obama to make college more affordable and equal pay for women a reality. I'm profoundly grateful for your attention to this debate. I'm profoundly honored to serve as your senator, and I'm profoundly humbled to ask for your vote.
Thank you, Senator. Representative, your time starts now.
Thank you. I love being a legislator, and that is why I have the reputation of reading bills and drilling down in details. And that is why some call me wonky. Chad Blair kind of implied that in his article today. But I want to tell you why. It is because I believe that is what you expect of me. Even if my staff goes crazy, you expect me to know the details, because details is what tells me how to watch out for you, how to protect Hawaii, and how to vote. I don't vote just to get along. I grew up in Waianae behind a family gas station. There I learned the values of hard work and doing my share. Yes, pumping gas, cleaning windows, checking oils with the little stool my grandpa made for me. Education was always important. That meant doing homework at the service station because both parents worked. It meant my mother doing the ultimate sacrifice of commuting me every day from Waianae to school. I graduated from the University of Hawaii with degrees in economics, sociology, and law. Whether I'm in the courtroom, in the legislature, or in Congress, I work hard for you because you are my bosses and you should expect no less from me. I want to thank you for listening to us this evening, and I do humbly ask you for your vote as the U.S. Senator who will fill the remaining term of Senator Inouye. Mahalo and good evening.
Thank you so much, Senator Schatz and Representative Hanabusa, for being with us this evening and sharing your thoughts. We also want to thank our panelists. That's Andrew Pereira, Catherine Cruz, and Chad Blair for your great questions this evening, and to Laura Yamada in our web center, and to all of our viewers for tuning in. Great questions from you out there. A reminder, KITV4 and CivilBeat.com will host a live debate in the Democratic primary race for Representative Hanabusa's District 1 seat. All 7 front-runner Democrats will square off in the KITV studios Wednesday, July 23rd at 8 p.m. And don't forget, if you're not registered to vote for the August primary election, you have until Thursday to do so. So get out and vote. I'm Paula Akana. On behalf of all of us here at KITV4 and CivilBeat.com, you have a great evening. Aloha.